Hello everybody. Ooh, I underestimated the weight of that a little bit. How are you doing today? I am just placing this beautiful mum that I was given for my birthday over here near our greenhouse, because I'm probably going to be working over here quite a bit in the next few weeks, and I might as well have something over here that I can enjoy looking at through the greenhouse and when I'm looking at the greenhouse. So win-win. Okay, so today, grab a drink here. We've got a little bit of a fall planting slash garden chore day. That being said, I don't know how far we'll get. We've got a pretty big line of clouds coming in. It's been partly sunny, partly cloudy most of the day, but I do have 4 plants from that second order for the permaculture garden that came in. Let me turn you around. Okay, so we have the Echinacea green twister, 2 of those, and then we have a rainbow Echinacea rainbow Marcella, and then a sunny days Echinacea that need to go in the ground. I've kind of held them over for a few days. It has been a combination of really hot and then followed by, what was it, 3.5 days of rain. So I had a week where I was almost not out here at all, except to do just some basic harvesting. So there are some backed up chores. See, the sun's coming out again. Can't make up its mind. That's alright. I'll take the warmth and the sunshine while I can have it. That is the one thing about living in the Ozarks that I don't really care for. The fall and winter seasons here so gloomy, cloudy, rainy, gloomy. It's not even like a nice kind of gloomy with a little bit of sun. It's usually a very awful gray gloomy, and it's wet. Very, very wet. So, get you in here. Alright, so if you have followed my channel, you will have seen part 1 and part 2 of the permaculture situation. What we've done is we've gone in here, if you haven't seen those videos, and we cleared everything out, and we have ordered some plants that we want to have a little bit more of just for staggered growth, as well as for medicinal purposes. You'll be seeing more about that next year when they finally grow in. The only thing that we ended up losing from the last batch was the Veronica. That was down there at the very end. That kind of made me a little sad, but considering how many plants we ordered and we only had the one fail, I guess I can't really complain. So I've got our little basic diagram plan that I told you guys about in the last video, and I'm going to go on ahead and get these guys in the ground, and then we're going to see if I can get them in the ground before any weather happens, because those clouds that are moving in, you know, it's supposed to rain early this evening, hence the really gray clouds. This is why I have no green beans, people. That right there, that creature, that horrible creature right there is the reason. If I wasn't already planning on pulling these out, this girl would be getting a spanking. It's a good thing it's fall. Okay, I'm gonna go on ahead and get these plants in the ground, hopefully get to the bed cleanup at least on this vlog, and hopefully prevent my dog from tearing up any more of my beautiful green beans before I can finish harvesting off of them. So let's go on ahead and get started, guys. Okay, I'm taking a brief respite here in the shade of the, this is tomato plants, by the way. They're huge and they're taking over. It's a fall garden, and right now we're kind of in that weird transition situation, because for us, we could not have a freeze until close to the end of the month. And one thing tomatoes do not like is a frost or a light freeze, which can also happen because we tend to get quite a bit of rain in the fall season. With that in mind, you're probably wondering why I haven't gone ahead and cleared this out. I think just based upon what I've seen from other YouTubers, like 99% of the YouTubers have already completely ripped out their summer gardens. They have already planted all of their fall crops. I don't roll that way. I really don't. I wait for my plants to tell me when they're done, and then I pull them. Now, I understand the idea and the principle behind going on ahead and pulling things out, summer garden wise at a specific date, especially if you live in a colder climate, and probably don't have as much leeway when it comes to warmth and just being able to germinate things well. There's a bird in the tomatoes. I don't know if I can catch it. Let's see. Hope it's not trying to make a nest. Shouldn't be. It should just be trying to fatten up and move on. But hopefully it's not trying to overwinter and do a home. We have had birds attempt to do that. Oh, there he went. He took off. We have had birds attempt to do that and overwinter here. Some do stay and overwinter just because we are a little bit milder. But Macy, get away from my green beans. Now, get off. Off. There you go, good girl. Okay, back to what I was saying about the summer garden. So, I understand the principle of following a date, especially if you live in a colder climate. We do not here, and we now have a greenhouse, which gives me a lot more leeway to allow the summer garden to just be a summer garden. That being said, I am going to be clearing out one of these beds that has a tomato that has taken over the universe, including the yard. It's not just in the bed, it's in the yard now. And it has put on about 2 foot of growth in the last 2 weeks. But we've got maybe, if God is really gracious, we maybe have 2 weeks. And I really need to get this bed cleared out and top dressed with some new soil, some compost, so that I can go on ahead and direct sow. Macy, you're gonna get put in timeout. She is going hard after those green beans. I guess I need to give her some green beans for dinner. So I've got some beans, green beans to be exact. It is called the Provider green bean. I won't probably have time to seed, so we'll see. But I'm planning on direct seed sowing those in this bed. They are supposedly a frost and cold tolerant green bean variety. Even if they aren't fully, winter hardy, we do have polyethylene, and I really want to try and see if I can overwinter them. And even if we only get enough for 3 or 4 meals a week during the winter, I will say that that's good on green beans for us. Between me, my mother, and the dogs, we all enjoy fresh green beans, so that would be a really, really nice dietary supplement to put in there over winter. Let me turn you around and show you what this guy's done. Okay. Swizzle. So, tomato is right there at the base. This all the way down to here. So there's like, what, 4 or 6 inches right there between the tomato and the bed. Yes, now I do realize that I could keep it here, but like I said, I really want to use the next 2 weeks to give those beans a chance to germinate and to allow the Brussels sprouts to take off in here. Now, the reason I'm okay with doing Brussels sprouts, I'm picky on what winter crops I will grow, especially since we are a small space garden. It just doesn't make sense for me to buy, it doesn't make sense, period, to buy starts for broccoli to me, because you're going to pay probably the same amount, roughly in the end, for the starts that you would for a crown of broccoli that's already been even organically grown at the store. So it just doesn't make sense to do that. Now, if you have the space and you can seed start and put those in, then great, go on ahead and do that. We do not have that space here, so we use some small space options such as broccoli raw. It's a smaller, more compact plant, still in the broccoli family, still tastes like broccoli, eats like broccoli. You can saute it with garlic, olive oil, salt and pepper, and it is absolutely wonderful as a side dish. So there is always other options and other varieties out there for whatever garden situation you are in. So just kind of do your due diligence. Pay attention to how things grow and how they like to grow and where they like to grow. And 9 times out of 10, they're going to grow. It's just how seeds work. Seeds have a job, and they're going to do their job if given the opportunity. It's just how it rolls. So, as much as it pains my heart to do this, let's go on ahead and start clearing out this tomato monster. And I think it's going to involve just cutting out portions of the branches and tossing them in sections down there, because just pulling it out is not going to be a very clean job. Just saying. Okay, so here we go. Okay. So I'm stopping very briefly to show you guys something fun. Let me back you up here a little bit. I think that's an okay angle. Sunlight coming and going is messing with the camera lighting. But you saw that the tomato is in the yard. So here's this. This is all new secondary root system that this yellow pear tomato was putting into the ground. And tomatoes will do this naturally. So let me see here. If you notice on any of your, here's a section. Okay, so let me see if I can get this close enough. Okay, so you see these little spines right there? That's usually a natural process of what happens as the tomato ages in order to protect itself. So that's a very, very normal thing. There's a lot of people that see those lumps and bumps and then think that there's something wrong with their tomato plant. That's just the tomato plant doing that. But if the tomato plant is following its natural course, which is actually to kind of lay down on the ground and vine out, it will put out new roots like that. Now that can come in handy, especially if you have one section that is kind of starting to die off. You can cut off the older original section and grow off of the new section. However, having a tomato in the yard itself is not going to be working for us in this scenario. Also, let me go on ahead and show you what I mean by letting the tomatoes and plants tell me when they are ready to be pulled. Here's an example. in the bed behind where I was sitting. Okay, so this is where the bird was just a minute ago. And you can see we've got some green stem here, and then we've got leaf dying. Now, that's just the natural course of what happens, but as you can see, as this progresses, it's going to end up looking like this, where it's half green, half dried. Now, this tells me when I first see this. Okay, so as I was saying, I had to put my dog in timeout. When I see that happening on my stems, I know it is at least time to seed start. It is usually easier for us to seed start fall for winter here. Now that we have a greenhouse, it's going to be so much easier all the way around. But it was always easier to seed start things for fall anyway, because I could just leave a tray out here. It wasn't too hot, wasn't too cold. I could bring them in at night if there was any over precipitation, all of that jazz. So when I say that I wait for my plants to tell me, that's what I mean. In the case of this bed, of course, I need the space. I've got to get it cleared out to get those other seeds started. It's just the way it goes sometimes. Plus, I've got like 2 other yellow pear in the main tomato bed. So I'm not going to be without yellow pear tomatoes by any stretch of the imagination. All right, so let's go on ahead and keep going on this tomato plant. Okay, well, that is some of the chores done. Obviously, I didn't get to the part where I'm putting the seeds in. Here we go. The sun's getting weird here. All right, well, sort of. Okay, I've got dirt all over me. But the only thing I did not pull out was the basil. I have plans for the basil. I'm going to be making some pesto with what's left in there, and then just cutting it down at the base and crossing my fingers and hoping that it comes back next year, because that plant is a really solid plant. Sometimes they will in our area, sometimes they won't. But I know of people who have had great luck just cutting the basil down to ground, and then the next year it just comes back. Like I said, for us it's been a 50-50 thing, but I'd rather give it the opportunity to do that, and then if it doesn't, I usually seed start a bunch of basil anyway, so I'll just throw a plant in there. But I'm gonna go on ahead and sign off here. I need to go in and get cleaned up and get dinner going for all of us. And I guess we'll just have to do a separate video on seed starting for fall. So, shucks, that's just an awful video to have to do, is a seed starting video. Okay, I'm being facetious. Whoop, there went our black cat. We have a neighborhood black cat. He's a sweet thing. I do kind of like him. And I'm not partial to cats, but. All right, I'm gonna sign off here. Gotta go in, get cleaned up. And guys, I will see you on the next one. So as always, keep it simple, natural, and essential. I'll see you later. Bye.